Good morning, broadcasters. 360 Seconds news and commentary for broadcast professionals is on the air. I'm Maria Kholodova from TKT. Let's discuss the latest technological news with our respected experts, Philip Grossman and Mary Seidler. Don't forget to give the program a like. The partnership between Nevion and TAG will simplify the deployment of IP-based broadcast product solutions. VideoIPath is already integrated with TAG's software-based IP multiviewer offering. This enables the optimized routing of video signals across IP networks into the multiviewer, which also offers probing and monitoring capabilities. So, Mary, I know that you were curious about this.
Yeah, this is an interesting partnership. First of all, these two companies are from completely separate countries. And what they've done is forge a real partnership because I think they recognize each of their own strengths. But this partnership has allowed for the optimization of routing video signals through IP networks. It makes a lot of sense. And Philip, I'm seeing a trend, and I wonder what you think of it, of companies that either play well with others and don't. And where do you see things heading?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think what we're seeing is with the adoption of IP, and as we all move to decentralization of the technology and moving to more software centric, organizations are seeing the need for this integration. One of the things I've always said about moving to IP is that enables new players to come into the market. You don't have to manufacture a large iron-based router anymore. You can do it with, COTS, off-the-shelf routing and networking, and Nevion is one of those who's adopted that from a control surface perspective. So you're seeing these integrations happen, I think, more often now as we start to see, it used to be, I want one throat to choke. I've always said that's a bad model because eventually you've choked the person out and there's nothing left to get from them. Where if you have multiple vendors, it's easier to build a best of breed solution. And I think we're seeing that happen with this. And TAG has been one of the leaders in the software-based multi-viewer space. So they probably have the most experience in doing that, which is, a requirement now as you move production across multiple locations. And Nevion is one of the newer players. And of course, they've got their parent company, Sony, behind them so that they do have the muscle to move into some of these larger opportunities. So I think it's a great technology partnership. And it's going to be interesting to see where it nets out.
What do you think of companies that absolutely cannot, because of their corporate structure or just their philosophy, cannot work with other companies well? Do you see that as being more of a hindrance in the future?
Yeah, I really do. In the past, it was very easy, especially in this space, for one company to make everything. You have the Everts and the Imagines and the Grasses of the world. But now that the underlying hardware, the COTS-based hardware, the servers and the graphics cards being powerful enough that you don't have to write specific FPGA code or ASICs-based code, that there's a lot more players now and a lot more organizations specializing in things like TAG, where they're very specific in this multi-viewer world. And so they can spend a lot of their time and resources in building probably one of the best multi-viewer solutions out there in the IP space. And the larger companies who can adopt to that and start using some of these are going to be left behind. I think the 800-pound gorillas are always going to be there. We're always going to have the big players. The question becomes, what is their central technology that they're going to offer that differentiates them? And I think the winners are going to be those big players who learn how to play well with others. And I think what will really be interesting is are we going to see a consolidation in the market? I mean, in the audio space, are you seeing this consolidation where a lot of small players are getting together, or some of the bigger players are buying some of the small players? I know we've seen it a bit in the video side. We saw everything breaking apart, and now things sort of coming together. What are you seeing in the audio side from that perspective?
I'm seeing a lot of small companies that are either starting to have partnerships with bigger companies. I'm starting to see companies who could never seem to establish relationships with other companies are now making that third and fourth effort, and now it's successful because they realize they have to change.
Is there a lot has I mean, to me the audio space has always seemed to be very fragmented. There's a lot of little players out there because there's a lot of little things that they can do, from just making microphones to just making the control boards. In the video space, you sort of had to, if you did routing and you did storage, you sort of did everything. But IP is allowing a lot of other players to sort of come into the market space. Are you seeing the same thing in the audio space?
Yes, and what's interesting is I think a lot of these companies haven't in the past gotten together because they're threatened. They make one thing or two things and they're like, geez, maybe we could make more. So they don't want to partner with someone else who may get into their space. I think that philosophy now is changing, finally.
Yeah, yeah. I think that we're seeing the same thing in the video side of the world. Is there's an openness to participate with others, to build strong relationships, and we'll see where this goes over the next 2 to 3 years. So it'll be very, very interesting, especially with cloud. So
Yeah.
Well, that's actually all the time that we have today. Many thanks to our experts, Philip and Mary, and don't forget to comment on the news that we've discussed. See you next Monday at the same time.